Ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya 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 la la ya la 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 ya la ya la ya la la ya 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 la la ya 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 la la ya la ya la 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 ya 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 la la ya 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 la la ya la ya la 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 ya la.
It so happened that early one morning, Rabbi Gamliel and a disciple were walking along a country road from one town to the next, when they came upon a young man fixing the wheel of his wagon with his tallis on his shoulders and his tefillin wrapped around his arm and on his head. When they'd gone a distance past the man, the student turned to his teacher and exclaimed in disgust, "The Jews around here, they have no learning, no respect for God. How could that man stand by the side of the road and change a wheel in his prayer garb?" But Rabbi Gamliel smiled and said, "Isn't it wonderful how the heart and mind of that Jew are turned towards God even as he fixes his wheel in the mud?" This is our daily challenge, to go about our lives with a holy sense of purpose, fulfilling each task as if we were wrapped in our prayer shawl, to always feel as if we are sheltered by God's presence. This Shabbat, may we seek that presence in the presence of each other, friends, strangers, relatives from out of town, for it is then that we'll be able to truly welcome Shabbat with a pure and open heart. If you're here with us in the sanctuary, we invite you to do just what you're doing, which is keep your masks on and sing to your heart's content. Be sensible in how you distance amongst our people. We've got plenty of room to spread out. If you're with us on live stream, right below the screen, there is a link to our Siddur as well as our order of service. We begin our service now on page 3 as we welcome Shabbat, kindling the Sabbath lights. It's my pleasure to call upon our bar mitzvah, Gavriel Flores Chasnoff, along with his grandmother, Sally, and his mother, Leslie, to kindle the Sabbath light.
As back so many are they're bright. So many העולם אשר תשנו בו מצוות ותבואן sovereign, hallowed Ore Afen Katarana Elohim Ratsavan God Ever
L'chaim. We turn now to page 12 as we welcome Shabbat with song from Psalm 95, L'chu neranena.
L'chu neranena l'Adonai, nari'ah l'tzor yisheinu. L'chu neranena l'Adonai, nari'ah l'tzor yisheinu. Nikadmov panav b'todah, b'zmirot nari'ah lo. L'chu neranena l'Adonai, nari'ah l'tzor yisheinu. Nikadmov panav b'todah, b'zmirot nari'ah lo. Nikadmov panav b'todah, b'zmirot nari'ah lo. And just across the page, Shir Ladonai. Shir Ladonai, Shir Shir Chadash, Shir Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shir Ladonai, Shir Shir Chadash, Shir Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shir Ladonai, Barechu Shemo, Basru liyom Yeshuato. Shir
Turn with us now to page 20 as we make ready to welcome the Sabbath bride, singing Lecha Dodi. We sing verses 1 and 2, 5 and 9. And when we reach verse 9, Bo'e v'shalom, we rise as a congregation, turning to face the entrance of our sanctuary to welcome that Sabbath bride, that Shabbos spirit, which we make real when we sing together. And if you're with us on live stream, we invite you, as we do every week, to consider your space at home or wherever you are, a mikdash ma'at, a small, intimate sanctuary that you create by your presence, by your spiritual uplift and singing as well. So join us wherever you are. Turn to those around you, wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Let them know you're glad you're here. They're here. If you haven't met them, introduce yourself. We continue now with the Chasi Kaddish on page 26 as we remain standing through the Shema. Amen.
va'ar v'chomar v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'ala shemei l'kudesha b'richu leila mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata tamiron v'ama v'meru. Amen.
As we turn to page 28 for the Baruch, it's my pleasure to call upon our bar mitzvah, Gavriel Flores Chasnoff, to lead us in the next portion of our worship service.
Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed. We continue on page 30. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, v'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umechalif et hazmanim, sader et hakochavim, v'mishmerotehem barakia kirtsono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Ma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila. Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv harvim. We continue in the middle of page 32. Everlasting love, who offered people Israel, by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens it. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Continue on page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. Continue together on page 36. Ve'avta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levacha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi metzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levenecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'aderech v'shochbecha uv'kumecha v'ktartam leot hayadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'itsharecha leman tiskeru vasitem et kol mitzotai hitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hoseiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'hiyot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
On the bottom of page 39, we read responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Yaakov, ugeulo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael.
On the bottom of page 43, we read together. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us the shelter of your peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapureis sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
Israel.
rise for the Amidah on page 46.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, Elyon, Komel Chasadim Tovim, Vekone Hakol, Vezocher Chaste Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei Vnehem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol atah Rav leHoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Ve'Rofei Cholim, Umotir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umido Melech, Melech Meimit Umechayeh, Umotzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah le'achayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha salah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. We continue reading responsively at the bottom of page 55. Disturb us, Adonai, ruffle us from our complacency. Make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness and the poverty, physical and spiritual.
Shakas Adonai, deny to us the false Shabbat which gives us the delusions, satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred.
Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies, rubric prayers of yesteryear.
Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality.
Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. On page 61, we join together in our prayer for peace. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our home. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul. May the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Having prayed for peace in our world, we think of those who face the future not fully whole, those who are in need of healing of mind, of body, and of spirit. We think of them and whisper their names aloud now. We join together singing Misha Berach. The words can be found on page 150.
Take a moment for silence. Ozi vezimrat ya Haili Lishua Ozi vezimrat ya Haili Lishua Ozi vezimrat ya Haili Lishua
This week's Torah portion, Shalach Lecha, is generally known for the story of the 12 spies sent by God to scout out the land of Canaan to see what they can see. Famously, the spies return with tales of a land flowing with milk and honey, but also of Anakites, giant-like beings, who will surely defeat the Israelites in their attempt to conquer the land. Only Caleb and Joshua have faith in God's power to assure them of victory, and in the end, the Israelites are told they will wander the desert for 40 years, so that the generation who lived as slaves and could not truly see themselves as free were no more. But at the end of the Parsha, Moses instructs the Israelites regarding setting aside challah, the observance of the Sabbath, how to treat strangers, and the laws of tzitzit. What are tzitzit exactly? We wear them on our prayer shawls or talitot, a talis. As a service leader, we do this both on Friday and Saturday, but technically one only wears a talit in the morning every day at shacharit, the morning service. The only night we should put on a talit or tzitzit is kol nidrei. But a more traditionally observant man might wear a shorter version every day under his shirt, known as a talit katan. Why, according to the Torah, must we wear them? Numbers chapter 15, verses 37 to 41 tells us, "Look at it, the fringe, and recall all the commandments of Adonai and observe them, so that you do not follow your hearts and eyes in your lustful urge. Thus you shall be reminded to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I, the Lord, am your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I, the Lord, am your God." So we wear the fringes to remember the commandments and to make sure we have no lust in our hearts. I might argue that we have lots of devices to help us from going astray, from nicotine patches to MyFitnessPal, maybe just a rubber band around your wrist. Finding tangible ways to remember what we should and should not do have always existed. So what makes tzitzit, fringes, special? And why, as the Jerusalem Talmud teaches, is the mitzvah of wearing tzitzit equal in importance to all the commandments? First, some good old-fashioned gematria, the Jewish version of numerology. Rashi explains that the numerical value of the word tzitzit is 600. Every Hebrew letter has a number equivalent. So the tzadi equals 90, a yud equals 10, another tzadi, 90, another yud, 10, tav, big one, 400, okay? I can't do math super quick in my head, but I promise you that is 600. So together, and then we have the fringe that is tied with 8 threads and 5 knots. 8 plus 5, 13, right? So together, the numerical equivalent, just check it, comes to 613, which is the number of commandments Rabbi Simlei, the 4th century sage, found in the Torah. So the mitzvah of wearing tzitzit is equal in importance to all the commandments because it's meant to represent them and remind the wearer of them. Yet, what truly makes them special, as Rabbi Pinchas Peli explains, is that the tzitzit are not a talisman or an amulet to guard the person who wears them from demons or evil spirits, but it's meant to represent the inner conscience of the religious person. For a long time, wearing tzitzit or talit was not something that Reform Jews did. As we read in the words of the Pittsburgh Platform of 1885, I bet you're going to do this just for you. Okay. Wearing such ritual garb was apt to obstruct rather than further modern spiritual elevation. Okay. But these days, most Reformed clergy wear a talit when leading or participating in worship, and many congregants do too, though most likely not out of a strict sense of commandedness. I don't think we need to wear tzitzit or talit to live lives that are mindful of God's commandments, but without a doubt, the physical presence of the tzitzit as a physical reminder of how we're supposed to be in the world feels compelling, at least to me. Rabbi Lisa Grashow helps us consider why wearing a talit has once again become a source of spiritual meaning, even for Reform Jews. She writes, like the proverbial string around one's finger, Tzitzit serve as a counterbalance to the forces of distraction or forgetting. The Torah portion begins with the scouts being led off course by what their eyes see and what their hearts hear. The commandment of tzitzit at the end of the parsha gives a strategy for avoiding such mistakes, especially when we consider where the fringes are actually located on the corners of the garment, or in Hebrew, kanfei bigdeihem, the corners of their garment. Roshau continues, kanaf most commonly means not corner, but wing, and often refers metaphorically to the wings of the divine presence, kanfei hashchina. On an individual level, the experience of wearing a talit can be like being wrapped in something holy, creating a sacred space for prayer. And on the communal level, perhaps the talit can be seen as Judaism's big tent. Whether or not you wear one, there's room enough for all. So, every time I help a bar or bat mitzvah put on a talit for the first time, or any time I wrap a new baby or a wedding couple for a blessing, I explain Rashi's teaching that the fringes and the knots and the strings represent the 613 commandments, but then I also explain how the talit represents not only God's commandments, but God's loving presence, kanfei hashchina, those wings or those corners, and by extension, the love and support of family and friends and community. If every time we wear a talit, or every time we step inside the sanctuary or participate in a Jewish ritual event, we feel that presence, I think our likelihood of fulfilling our ethical mandate is increased. And even if you don't wear one, if we think about this sacred space with its arches and its draping spaces as one big talit, then we can focus on that sense of feeling special, protected, and inspired, and hopefully bring that feeling into our everyday lives as well. It's not always easy to feel protected by God's presence, or even to be connected to Jewish community. And it's been especially difficult during this past year when we couldn't be in each other's physical presence and when so many people experienced loss. And just like our older people experienced extra measures of loneliness and isolation, our young people did too. Denied in-person social time with their peers for so many months was difficult. And the URJ, the Union for Reform Judaism's decision to cancel camp across the country last summer was a painful, though prudent, one for many children and parents alike. Which is why this summer means even more than most summers. We have about 40 Temple kids at Green Family Camp this summer, campers and staff, who cannot wait to be back in Bruceville. It is for most of them their most authentic Jewish place, where they're inspired to be their best selves every day. Every week at Green, special bunk-made talitot are held high over campers' heads at their Shabbos dinner table as blessings are said, extending that idea that camp is a safe Jewish space, imbuing that space and that moment with a sense of holiness. It is a reminder that we do need tangible manifestation of blessing and God's presence. And even if they don't fully understand, the experience of being blessed under a talit that they all made together is one that stays with them. So whether we experience the physical weight of a talit, the emotional gift of someone else's caring presence, or the sense of serenity and peace we feel in this beautiful sanctuary, the concept of kanfei hashchina is always there, waiting for us to see, feel, and share God's loving. Amen. So now I'm going to invite all of our GFC people who are here this evening, young and old, to come on up and receive a special blessing as they get ready to leave for camp, whether it's next weekend or next month. And we're going to share that with a special talit as well. So hopefully you grabbed a blessing on your way in. If you're with us, if you're with us on live stream, it's in the order of service. All right, everyone. Take that. Come under the talit, the kanfei hashkina. Do you want to maybe help Fran over there? Well, someone help Fran. Oh, yeah, well, I need to stuff. Okay. We can bless each other. Okay. Holy One, a blessing. As we celebrate a successful academic year, we ask your blessing upon these children who are preparing to journey to Bruceville, Texas, for a summer of fun and friendship at Green Family Camp.
May each of these children carry with them their love of Jewish learning, their enthusiasm, and an adventurous spirit as they create community with other Jewish children from across the Texas-Oklahoma area and beyond.
May each of these children return to San Antonio filled with magical memories of GFC and bring them home to share with the rest of the Temple Beth-El community.
We are excited to have a great
summer at Green Family Camp, to see old friends and make new ones. May we return with a stronger connection to our Jewish community and a better understanding of our Jewish self.
And may our children go forth, secure in the knowledge that our hearts are full of pride, grateful the years of growth in their lives. May our children be blessed with new knowledge and new experiences, the courage to face new challenges, keep going, and the strength to overcome their fears. May they each remember the values and truth we have instilled in them, and may they carry them always. O God, giver of knowledge and wisdom, guide and protect our children as they set forth towards greater independence and personal fulfillment. Brachim atem bevoachem, brachim atem b'tzeitchem. Blessed were you when you came into this place. Blessed may you be as you go forth from here. Amen. It's going to be awesome. Who's going for the first time? Who's going for the first time? Wait. Oh, junior campers, yay! It's going to be so awesome. These big, tall people are going to look out for you and say, yay, Alana. Okay. Go, give away.
Continue now with the concluding portion of our worship service. Aleinu can be found on page 283, and I invite you all to please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וקורא עלינו להמליך מלכותו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ישיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. Our memorial meditation can be found on page 288. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. If you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands, by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. Our thoughts turn now to those in our community who have died at this time in years past. As we mark their yard sites, we remember them. Marcos Aronson, Marjorie Balbert, Helen Bennett, Rose Bennett, Joseph Bergovoy, Philip Bookman, Harry Pfeiffer Brown, Luz Obwen Rostro, James Dick, Rabbi Richard E. Dreyer, Julius Dubb, Freddie Mae Duchin, Wilma Fisher, Henry Fischel, Howard Frieden, Jack Glickenhaus, Mo Goldman, Shirley Landsman Goldsmith, Sharon Gonzalez, Lionel Goodstein, Dr. Sheldon P. Gorin, Rebecca Greenblum, Ruth Jean Gerwitz, Joseph Hardy, Arthur Harris, Eskar Hockman, Francis Levy Kahn, Jacob Carfield, Theodore King, Bill Collett, Sylvia Crandall, Doris Kraus, Louise Lane, Gertrude Levinson, Harry H. Levy III, Shirley Macot, Les Mendelson, Simon Mekthik, Wallace Newell, Herbert Oppenheimer, Harry Persky, Luis Gervitz Phillip, Ruth Pollock, Kaya Rabinovich, Alan Bruce Ramiel, Ruth Rain, Ruth Rose, Maurice Charlack, Dolores Segel, Clarice Sterling, Anne Schoss, Julius Steinhardt, Sylvan Ungerlader, Amnon Weidenfeld, Ashley Weiss, Joseph Weiss, Cornelia Weiss, Gerda Yaffe, and Jack Zimmerman. We also think of those who've died this past month whose families are in a mourning period of Shloshim. We remember Sabra Landy, cousin of Dr. Jill and Tabarak Vexler, David Vexler, Jack and Betty Vexler, and Jeff and Catherine Vexler. We also remember Stanley David Rosenberg, husband of Sandra Rosenberg, father of Susan and Lee Sandolowski, Carol and Steve Baskin, Jill and Bobby Rosenthal, grandfather of Allison and Zach Kaplan, Sean and Maggie Sandolowski, Sam Baskin, Chelsea Baskin, Justin Rosenthal, Blake Rosenthal, and Aubrey Rosenthal, great-grandfather to 4, brother-in-law of Kenneth and Carol Sugarman, uncle of Michael Sugarman, Amy and Dan Weingart, and Andy Sugarman, Stephen Sobel, and Lauren and Roy Harris. We also think of one who's died this past week. Family is in a mourning period of Shiva. Remember Leslie Sarah Kittler, cousin of Alex Golden. With all of these names and those which are in our hearts each and every day, we join together on page 294 for Kaddish Yatom. Please rise. Yitzgadal v'yitzkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulmei almaya, v'yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha b'rechu, La'ela mikol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, Za'amiran ve'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen. May be seated. It is my honor to call forward Marcia Krasner to deliver tonight's announcements on behalf of the Board of Trustees.
Shabbat Shalom. And Mazel Tov, felicidades, and congratulations to the entire Chestnut family. So happy for all of you. We hope you can join us tomorrow, either here in the Wolf Sanctuary or online to celebrate Gabriel's bar mitzvah as a community. I have 2 announcements, aside from that. This Sunday at 9:30, our Scholar Series with Rachel Stern is offering a session on tzedek. The topic is one that is very timely in light of current events. Specifically, Rachel is going to be talking about the role of social justice and activism in the Jewish community and how each of us can balance the prophetic vision of justice. So if you're interested, go to the website, look under the Adult Learning tab to register and get a Zoom link for the session. Second, this week, both Thursday, June 10th and Friday, June 11th, from 8 o'clock in the morning till noon, you can volunteer at Mobility Worldwide, a nonprofit that builds mobility carts. I was like, mobility cart. I wasn't really exactly sure. I mean, I know the ones that are electric, but these are actually 3-wheeled, all-terrain wheelchairs operated by hand and are delivered free of cost to people throughout the world who have lost the use of their limbs for various reasons. Participants in this event will be drilling, sawing, painting, and I'm told that you don't need to have any experience. If you're interested, you can read the weekly email for more details and contact Nancy Gerson if you're interested in participating. Again, Shabbat Shalom. It's wonderful to see all of you.
Ask that. Our closing song is Ose Shalom. Please rise. Find it on 61 or 2.
Ose Shalom Biroma, Ose Shalom Aleinu, Ve'ako Yisrael, Ve'ako Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'eru. Amen. Ose Shalom Biroma, Ose Shalom Aleinu, Ve'ako Yisrael, Ve'ako Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'eru. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.